Have you ever thought about what it feels like to suddenly have a big responsibility? Imagine being young, just like any other child, playing with your toys, laughing with your friends, and dreaming about your future. You think life is simple, but then, one day, everything changes. Suddenly, the world is watching you. You have to be strong. You have to be brave. You have to lead. This is the story of a girl named Elizabeth. She was born in 1926 in a big house in England. She had a sister, Margaret, and they played together every day. Elizabeth loved her dolls and her games. She loved to laugh and run outside. She never imagined that one day she would be the queen of an entire country. Just like you, she was once a little girl with big dreams. Life, however, does not always wait for us to be ready. One day, her father became King George VI. That meant Elizabeth was no longer just a little girl. She was a princess. She had to learn many new things: the history of her country, how to meet important people, and how to help others. Can you imagine being told you have to learn so many serious things when you were still young? It was not easy for her, but she worked hard every day because she wanted to do her best. Then, something happened that changed everything. Her father passed away, and Elizabeth became queen. She was only 25 years old. 25! At an age when most young people are still thinking about college or their first job, Elizabeth suddenly had the whole country depending on her. She felt scared, she felt nervous, but she promised herself and promised the people that she would do her very best. She knew she had to be strong even when she was afraid. Being a queen was not just about wearing a crown or going to parties. It was about helping people, visiting hospitals, schools, and even other countries. She had to meet many leaders and make decisions that could affect millions of lives. Imagine having so many people look at you every day and expect you to make the right choices. It sounds stressful, doesn't it? But Elizabeth kept going day after day because she cared about her people. And through all this, she never forgot her family. She loved her husband, Prince Philip, and their children. Family was her comfort and her strength. Even when life was busy and full of responsibilities, she always made time for the people she loved. This is not just a story about a queen. This is a story about courage, responsibility, hard work, and love. It is about a little girl who became a great queen and how she inspired millions of people around the world. And the best part? Her story shows us that no matter how young you are or how small you feel, you can do great things if you are brave and work hard. So, if you are ready, let's step back in time and follow the amazing journey of Queen Elizabeth II. Let's see how a little girl became a symbol of strength and hope for millions of people around the world. This story will make you smile, think, and maybe even feel a little braver about your own life. Part 1. A Princess is Born. Once upon a time, in a big, beautiful house in England, a little girl was born. Her name was Elizabeth. She was born in 1926, in a world that was very different from ours today. There were no computers, no mobile phones, and not everyone had a car. People traveled mostly by train or horse carriages. Life was simpler, but it was also full of rules, especially for the royal family. Elizabeth was not alone. She had a younger sister named Margaret. The two girls loved each other very much. They played together every day. They laughed, ran, and sometimes argued, just like any other sisters. Elizabeth loved playing with her dolls. She had a big collection of dolls, and she would spend hours dressing them up, talking to them, and imagining stories for them.
Even though she was born into a royal family, Elizabeth's childhood was not very different from the childhood of other children in many ways. She had toys, she had friends, and she loved to play outside in the gardens of her big house. She loved nature and often watched the birds, the flowers, and the animals around her home. She loved exploring and discovering new things. Elizabeth's parents were kind and loving, but they were also very busy. Her father, the Duke of York, and her mother, the Duchess, had many responsibilities. They wanted Elizabeth and Margaret to grow up with manners, respect, and understanding. Elizabeth's parents taught her important lessons about life, about kindness, and about helping others. She learned early that being part of a family, and especially a royal family, was not just about having fun. It was also about responsibility, even if she didn't fully understand that yet. Elizabeth loved to learn. Even as a small child, she was curious. She asked many questions about everything she saw. "Why is the sky blue?" she would ask. "Why do the birds sing?" Sometimes her parents would smile and answer. Other times her teachers and nannies would explain the answers. She was always eager to learn more about the world around her. But she was still just a child. She loved simple things. She loved painting pictures, listening to stories, and running in the gardens with her sister. She enjoyed simple games like hide and seek, tag, and catching butterflies. She loved ice cream and chocolate, just like most children. She had favorite books and favorite songs. She laughed a lot, and sometimes cried, like all children do. Elizabeth had a very special bond with her sister, Margaret. She was her friend, her playmate, and sometimes her little troublemaker. They would create their own little world together, full of imagination and laughter. Elizabeth, even as a young girl, had a sense of caring. She often protected Margaret when she fell or when she felt scared. And Margaret loved Elizabeth in return. They were very close, and their love for each other was clear to everyone who saw them. Elizabeth's life seemed happy and ordinary, even though she lived in a royal family. She never imagined that her life would change in ways she could never expect. She had no idea that one day she would become the queen. To her, life was about playing, learning, and enjoying the love of her family. She did not worry about kings, queens, or crowns. She did not think about rules for the country or meetings with important people. She was just a little girl enjoying her childhood. Even though she was young, Elizabeth's parents taught her the importance of kindness. They told her that being a princess was not about being rich or wearing beautiful clothes. It was about helping others and being a good person. These lessons stayed with her as she grew. She learned that even small acts of kindness, like helping a friend, sharing toys, or saying kind words, were very important. She also learned the value of curiosity. She loved to ask questions and learn new things every day. Her curiosity made her smart, and it made her enjoy learning about the world. She learned about animals, plants, history, and even different countries. She loved maps and would often spend hours looking at them, imagining faraway places and dreaming about what life could be like there. Even as a child, Elizabeth had a sense of duty. She wanted to do her best in everything she tried. If she was learning to write, she practiced carefully. If she was learning a new game, she tried to play fairly and kindly. These small habits helped her grow into a responsible and caring person. Elizabeth's childhood was also full of stories. Her family often told her stories about past kings and queens, about brave people, and about life in general. These stories inspired her. They made her think about what kind of person she wanted to become. She loved stories because they were exciting, and they also taught lessons about courage, kindness, and wisdom. Even though Elizabeth lived in a royal family, she was still very much like any other child. She laughed when she was happy, cried when she was sad, and sometimes felt scared. She learned about friendship, love, family, and the world around her. And she did all this without knowing the biggest part of her story, the part where she would grow up to be Queen Elizabeth II, one of the most famous and respected leaders in the world. Elizabeth's early life teaches us an important lesson. Even if we are small or young, our actions, curiosity, kindness, and love can shape the person we become. Just like Elizabeth, we may not know what the future holds, but we can always enjoy our childhood, learn new things, care for others, and dream big. One day, those dreams and lessons may help us do amazing things, just like Elizabeth did. So, imagine being a little girl, playing with dolls, running in the garden, laughing with your sister, and learning about life. Imagine not knowing that one day people all over the world would watch you, listen to you, and admire you. That was Elizabeth's childhood, a mix of fun, learning, love, and dreams. And little did she know, this was only the beginning of an incredible journey.
Part 2. Life changes suddenly. Life for little Elizabeth was full of fun, laughter, and learning. She loved playing with her sister, reading stories, and exploring the big gardens of her home. She was happy and carefree, just like any other child. But life, as we all know, can change very quickly. One day, something happened that Elizabeth could never have imagined, something that would change her life forever. Elizabeth's father was King George VI's brother at that time. He was not expected to become king. So Elizabeth thought her life would continue as it had always been, full of toys, games, and lessons with her teachers. But the world had other plans. Elizabeth's uncle, King Edward VIII, who was the king, made a choice that shocked everyone. He decided to leave the throne because he wanted to marry someone the country did not approve of. Suddenly, Elizabeth's father became King George VI. That meant Elizabeth was no longer just a little girl in a big house. She became a princess, the daughter of the king. Her life changed almost overnight. She now had new responsibilities, new rules, and a new place in the world. Imagine being a child, playing with dolls one day, and the next day knowing that everyone is watching you because you are part of the royal family. It must have been both exciting and a little scary for her. Elizabeth had to grow up quickly. She could no longer spend all her time playing games or exploring gardens without thinking about her duties. She had to learn how to be a princess, and that was not easy. There were many rules she had to follow. She had to learn about history, about how the country worked, and about how to help people. She had to learn how to speak politely, how to meet important guests, and how to make decisions that could affect many people. Even though it was difficult, Elizabeth worked very hard. She practiced every day. She listened carefully to her teachers. She read books about history, politics, and geography. She learned about her country and its people. She wanted to be ready for whatever the future would bring. Even as a young girl, she understood that her life was not only about her own happiness. She had to think about others, about her family, and about her country. Elizabeth's mother and father supported her. They gave her lessons and guidance, but they also encouraged her to enjoy her childhood whenever she could. They reminded her that even a princess needs time to play, laugh, and imagine. Elizabeth tried to balance her new responsibilities with her childhood. She still played with her sister, painted pictures, and ran in the gardens. But now there was always a little voice in her mind reminding her, "You are a princess now. You have to be ready for the future." Elizabeth also learned about courage during this time. She had to meet many people she had never met before, government leaders, diplomats, and foreign visitors. She had to smile, speak politely, and show respect. Sometimes it was tiring and difficult, especially for someone so young. But she knew that these moments were important. She practiced, learned, and became more confident with each meeting. Life was not only about learning rules in history. Elizabeth also had to understand feelings. She learned to be kind, patient, and thoughtful. She learned that being a princess was not about looking beautiful in a dress or wearing a crown. It was about helping people, being responsible, and showing care for everyone. Even small actions like visiting a hospital or comforting a child could make a big difference. Sometimes Elizabeth felt overwhelmed. She was still a child, but the world around her was watching her every move. She had to make choices, answer questions, and behave correctly, even when she just wanted to play or rest. But she never gave up. She kept learning, practicing, and growing. Every day she reminded herself that her work was important and that she could do it if she tried. Elizabeth's sister Margaret was there during this time too. They supported each other. Margaret sometimes reminded Elizabeth to have fun and not take life too seriously. Together, they shared small joys, like playing games, reading stories, and laughing at funny moments. Elizabeth learned that even when life changes suddenly, having family or friends by your side can make challenges easier to face. This period of Elizabeth's life teaches an important lesson. Life can change very quickly. One day you may feel safe, happy, and carefree. The next day, everything can feel different. But what matters is how you respond. You can be scared, confused, or nervous, and that is okay, but you can also work hard, learn new things, and grow stronger. That is what Elizabeth did. She faced big changes with courage, determination, and a positive heart. By the time Elizabeth was a teenager, she had already learned many lessons about life and responsibility and kindness. She had learned that growing up sometimes happens faster than we expect. She had learned that hard work, care for others, and patience are very important. And she had learned that even when life feels difficult, love and support from family can help you keep going. Elizabeth's life shows us that even when we are young, we can rise to challenges. We can learn new skills, work hard, and prepare ourselves for the future, even when the future is uncertain. We can face big changes with courage and still find joy in the little moments. Just like Elizabeth, we can grow stronger, wiser, and kinder, no matter what life brings. So imagine being a little girl, suddenly becoming a princess, and knowing that your life will never be the same again. Imagine learning new rules, studying history, practicing etiquette, and visiting important people, all while still trying to enjoy childhood. That was Elizabeth's world. It was full of challenges, but also full of lessons, love, and opportunities to grow. And little did she know, this was only the beginning. The lessons she learned during this time would prepare her for the biggest role of her life, the role of being Queen Elizabeth II. But for now, she focused on learning, growing, and doing her best one day at a time. Part 3. Becoming Queen. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes it gives us responsibilities that we never imagined. For Elizabeth, one of these moments came in 1952. She was only 25 years old, still very young, still learning about the world, but suddenly everything changed. Elizabeth's father, King George VI, had been a guiding light in her life. He taught her about responsibility, kindness, and courage.
He helped her understand the importance of duty and the needs of the people. Elizabeth loved her father very much. He was not just a king, he was her father, her guide, and her example. But one day, her father passed away. Elizabeth was shocked and saddened. She felt a deep sadness in her heart. Losing someone you love is always hard, and for Elizabeth it was even more complicated, because now she had to step into a role that would affect millions of people. She was no longer just a princess. She had become the queen. Imagine being 25 years old and suddenly realizing that your life has changed completely. You are young, and yet the whole country looks to you. People expect you to be strong, wise, and fair. You have to make decisions that can affect many lives. You feel scared, nervous, and unsure. That is exactly how Elizabeth felt. But even in that moment, she remembered the lessons her parents taught her: duty, responsibility, courage, and care for others. She promised herself and promised the people that she would do her very best. Being queen was not easy. It was a big job. Elizabeth had to learn how to lead a country, how to meet foreign leaders, and how to represent her people in the best way possible. Every day was full of new challenges. Sometimes she had to make decisions that were difficult and that could affect people's lives. She had to be careful with her words, her actions, and even her thoughts. Everything she did mattered. Even though she had trained for this responsibility, it was still overwhelming at first. Elizabeth often wondered, "Am I ready? Can I do this?" These are feelings that anyone can understand. Think about the first day of a new job, or the first time you have to speak in front of a class, or the first big responsibility your parents give you. It feels scary at first, but if you try your best, you can handle it. Elizabeth learned this lesson very quickly. She realized that courage does not mean never feeling afraid. Courage means doing your best even when you are afraid. Elizabeth also learned the importance of listening. She listened to her advisors, her family, and the people around her. She learned from their advice and their experiences. She realized that being a queen was not about being alone or always having the answers. It was about working with others, learning, and making thoughtful choices. Even young people can understand this lesson. Sometimes asking for help and listening to others can make a big difference in how well we do our jobs. Being queen also taught Elizabeth about kindness. She visited hospitals, schools, and local communities. She met children, families, and workers from all walks of life. She learned about their struggles, their dreams, and their hopes. She realized that being a leader was not just about wearing a crown or sitting in a palace. It was about helping people, making them feel heard, and showing that you care. Even small gestures, like a smile, a kind word, or taking time to listen, could mean a lot to someone. Elizabeth had to learn many new skills as queen. She learned how to speak in public with confidence. She learned how to write speeches that inspired people. She learned about international relations and how to represent her country on the world stage. All of these were new experiences, and sometimes they were difficult. But she remembered that learning is a process, and no one starts perfect. She practiced every day, just like she had done as a child when she was learning to write, paint, or play a game. Even though she had a busy and serious life, Elizabeth still found time to enjoy moments of happiness. She spent time with her husband, Prince Philip, and their children. She found comfort in her family and in the love of the people she cared about. She learned that even the most important responsibilities in life are easier when you have love and support. Elizabeth's story during this time is very relatable. Many people face moments when they suddenly have to take on big responsibilities. It could be starting a new job, taking care of a family member, or leading a project at school or work. At first, it feels scary, and we may doubt ourselves. But the important lesson is that we can rise to the challenge by doing our best, learning, and caring for others. That is exactly what Elizabeth did. As queen, Elizabeth became a symbol of strength, courage, and kindness. She inspired people not just by her position, but by her actions, her words, and her heart. She showed the world that even someone young can take on a great responsibility and make a difference. She reminded everyone that life may give unexpected challenges, but with determination, courage, and care for others, we can handle them. Elizabeth's journey during this time of her life teaches us that being brave does not mean never feeling scared. It means standing up and doing what is right even when you are nervous. It means learning every day, listening to others, and showing kindness. It means balancing responsibility with love, work with family, and duty with personal growth. Imagine being 25 years old, suddenly responsible for millions of people, and feeling scared. Now imagine facing that fear with courage, learning every day, and doing your best for others. That was Elizabeth. And this period of her life would prepare her for many more challenges, adventures, and achievements in the years to come. Even though Elizabeth was young, she never gave up. She worked hard, learned new skills, listened to people, and showed kindness in every action. She became a queen not just by title, but by heart, courage, and determination. And through this, she inspired millions of people around the world. This part of Elizabeth's life teaches us an important lesson for all of us. No matter how young you are, no matter how big the responsibility, you can face it if you are willing to learn, work hard, and care for others. Just like Elizabeth, we can all rise to the challenges in our lives and make a difference.
Part 4. A life of duty. Being a queen is not like playing a game. It is not like going to a party or having fun all day. Being a queen is a serious responsibility. Queen Elizabeth II understood this very well. Every day, she had important work to do. Every day, she had to think about people, her country, and the world. But even though it was difficult, she did not give up. She learned to work hard and to be patient, even when she was tired. When Elizabeth became queen, she was very young, only 25 years old. Most people at that age are thinking about their careers, studies, or exploring life. But Elizabeth had to lead a country. She had to make decisions that could affect millions of people. Imagine how stressful it must have been. She had to wake up early, meet advisors, plan visits, write speeches, and attend important events. She had to learn quickly and remember everything she was taught. One important part of her duty was visiting people. She visited hospitals to meet sick children and patients. She visited schools to see how children were learning. She visited factories to see how workers were doing their jobs. She wanted to understand people's lives. She wanted to listen to them and learn about their hopes and struggles. She believed that being a good queen meant being close to the people. Even if her schedule was very busy, she always made time to meet ordinary people and hear their stories. Queen Elizabeth also traveled to many countries. She visited places far away, meeting leaders, children, and families. She learned about different cultures and customs. She wanted to show respect and care wherever she went. She wore traditional clothes sometimes, learned a few words of other languages, and listened carefully to people's stories. Traveling was not easy. It could be long, tiring, and sometimes stressful, but she did it with a smile. She knew her work was important. Even when life was busy, Elizabeth never gave up. She worked hard, day after day, because she loved her country and her people. She understood that hard work is important, even when it is not easy. She believed that responsibility is not a burden, it is a chance to make a positive difference. She showed the world that dedication and care can inspire respect and admiration. Elizabeth's life of duty is very relatable. Each of us has responsibilities in our lives. Maybe you have homework to do or chores at home. Maybe you have to help your family, take care of a younger sibling, or do your best at school. These may seem small compared to being a queen, but the lesson is the same. Hard work and responsibility matter. Even when it is difficult, doing your best helps you grow and helps others around you. Sometimes being a queen was not easy for Elizabeth. She had to make tough decisions. She had to be careful about what she said and did. People were watching her every day. Mistakes could affect her country or her people. But Elizabeth faced challenges calmly. She remembered that learning and patience are important. She never stopped trying to be a better leader, a better listener, and a better person. She understood that being responsible means learning from mistakes, staying patient, and always moving forward. Even though she had a busy life, Elizabeth found joy in small moments. She enjoyed seeing children smile during her visits. She loved meeting families and learning about their lives. She found happiness in helping people feel proud of their country. She understood that being a leader is not only about power or authority, it is about kindness, care, and making people feel valued. Elizabeth also believed in teamwork. She listened to her advisors, her family, and her friends. She understood that she could not do everything alone. Working together with others made her decisions stronger and her actions wiser. This teaches us an important lesson. Even when we have responsibilities, we can ask for help, listen to others, and learn from them. Teamwork makes hard work easier and more meaningful. Elizabeth's life of duty was long and consistent. She did not work only when she felt like it. She worked every day, even when she was tired, even when she was unwell, and even when things were difficult. Her commitment was an example to everyone. She showed that dedication and persistence are important values in life. She inspired millions of people not because of her crown, but because of her actions and her heart. Her story also teaches patience. Being responsible is not always about quick results. Sometimes it takes time to make a difference. Sometimes the work is small, invisible, or unnoticed. But Elizabeth showed that every effort matters. Every kind word, every visit, every decision contributes to the bigger picture. Even small acts of care and responsibility can create a positive impact. Life of duty is also about balance. Elizabeth loved her family and made sure to spend time with them, even with her busy schedule. She knew that family love gives strength, courage, and happiness. Balancing work, responsibilities, and personal life is a challenge for everyone, not just queens. Elizabeth's example reminds us that caring for others while also taking care of ourselves makes life richer and more meaningful. Even today, people remember Queen Elizabeth II for her dedication, kindness, and sense of duty. Her life teaches us that responsibilities, whether big or small, are a chance to grow. They are a chance to make a difference, help others, and learn important lessons. She showed that anyone, no matter their age, can take responsibility seriously and work hard to achieve good things. Imagine being a young queen, traveling to faraway countries, visiting hospitals, schools, and factories, meeting people, listening to their stories, and still finding time to care for your family. Imagine doing this every day, for decades. That was Elizabeth's life, a life of duty, hard work, kindness, and courage. Her story teaches us that we can all be responsible in our own ways. Doing your best at school, helping your family, being kind to friends, or even doing small chores at home are all forms of duty. Each action, no matter how small, matters. And if we face responsibilities with courage, patience, and care, we can achieve amazing things, just like Queen Elizabeth II did. Elizabeth's life of duty shows us that duty is not a burden. It is a chance to make life better for others. It is a chance to grow, learn, and become stronger. Every visit she made, every decision she took, and every person she helped show us the power of dedication and responsibility.
Part 5. Family and Love. Even though Queen Elizabeth II had an important job as a queen, she was also a person who loved her family very much. Her family gave her happiness, comfort, and support in every stage of her life. Without them, her life of duty would have been much harder. Elizabeth met Prince Philip when they were both young. He was brave, kind, and caring. They fell in love and soon got married. For Elizabeth, this was one of the happiest moments of her life. Even though she had a busy life as queen, having someone by her side who loved her and supported her made life easier and more joyful. Their love was strong and lasted for decades. Prince Philip understood Elizabeth's responsibilities. He knew how important her work as queen was, and he always supported her. Even though he had his own duties, he helped Elizabeth carry the weight of being a queen. They shared a partnership built on respect, trust, and love. This shows us something very important. In life, having someone who supports you makes challenges easier to face. Love and understanding can give you strength even when responsibilities feel heavy. Elizabeth and Philip had 4 children: Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward. Being a mother while being a queen was not easy. She had to manage her royal duties while caring for her children, teaching them values, and spending time with them. But Elizabeth loved her children dearly. She wanted them to grow up with love, respect, and kindness, just like she had learned from her own parents. Even with her busy schedule, Elizabeth made sure to be there for her family. She attended school events, celebrated birthdays, and spent holidays with them. She understood that family love is not only about being together, but also about showing care, listening, and supporting each other. Sometimes even small moments, like reading a story, sharing a meal, or laughing together, can make family life special and meaningful. Elizabeth also loved her grandchildren. Watching them grow brought her joy and happiness. She loved to see them laugh, play, and learn new things. Her family was a reminder that life is not only about work and responsibility, it is also about love, joy, and connection. Family gives us reasons to smile, even on the busiest or hardest days. Her love for family was a lesson for the world. Many people admired how she managed her royal duties while still caring deeply for her loved ones. She showed that it is possible to be responsible, work hard, and still make time for the people who matter most. This is a lesson that everyone can relate to. Even if we are busy with school, work, or other responsibilities, it is important to take time for family and loved ones. Love gives us strength, comfort, and motivation to do our best. Elizabeth's family also helped her during difficult times. Life is not always easy, and being a queen comes with challenges. But her family gave her support, encouragement, and understanding. Her husband, children, and grandchildren reminded her that she was not alone. This teaches an important lesson. When life feels hard, family can be our greatest source of strength. Even small words of encouragement or a simple hug can make a big difference. Elizabeth's love for her family was also about teaching values. She wanted her children to understand responsibility, kindness, and respect. She taught them that life is about helping others, caring for people, and doing the right thing, even when it is not easy. These lessons are important for everyone, not just for royal families. Parents, guardians, and family members everywhere teach children through love, guidance, and example. Even though Elizabeth had many responsibilities, she never let them stop her from enjoying family life. She played games with her children and grandchildren, told stories, and laughed with them. She understood that love is not only about serious moments, it is also about fun, happiness, and creating memories. These simple moments show us that balancing work and family is important. Even when life is busy, taking time for loved ones makes life richer and happier. Elizabeth also taught us patience. Being a mother and grandmother while being a queen was not easy. Sometimes she had to make decisions quickly or manage multiple responsibilities at once. But she learned to be patient, to listen, and to care for her family, even in difficult times. This patience and care helped her children grow into responsible and kind adults. It also showed the world that love and dedication go hand in hand. Family love was a source of joy for Elizabeth. It reminded her of childhood memories, of her own parents, and of the lessons she had learned growing up. Family gave her hope, happiness, and a sense of belonging. Even in the busiest days, she could find comfort in being with the people she loved. This is something we can all relate to. No matter how busy we are, spending time with family, sharing love, and creating happy moments is very important. Elizabeth also showed that love is about giving, not just receiving. She gave her time, attention, and care to her children and grandchildren. She helped them learn, grow, and understand life. She supported them in their challenges and celebrated their achievements. This shows us that love is active. It is about caring, helping, teaching, and being present. Love is not only a feeling, it is also action. Even the world noticed Elizabeth's family love. People admired how she managed her royal duties while still caring deeply for her loved ones. She inspired millions by showing that family matters even in the midst of great responsibilities. Her life reminds us that love is not separate from duty. Love makes us stronger and gives meaning to our work. Elizabeth's story also teaches an important lesson about happiness. Happiness is not only about success, power, or achievement. Happiness is also about love, relationships, and family. Elizabeth's life shows us that caring for loved ones and being cared for in return is one of life's greatest joys. Her love and dedication created a family that was strong, united, and loving. Her children and grandchildren learned from her example that kindness, responsibility, and love are important values. They saw how love can support hard work, give courage, and create a happier life. This lesson is universal. It applies to everyone, everywhere. Imagine being a queen, traveling the world, meeting leaders, making important decisions, and still finding time to laugh, play, and care for your children. Imagine the joy of seeing them grow, learning new things, and creating memories together. This was Elizabeth's life, a life full of love, family, duty, and happiness. Elizabeth's story shows us that love is powerful. It gives us strength, comfort, and motivation. Family love can help us face challenges, do our best, and find joy even in difficult times. Just like Queen Elizabeth II, we can learn to care for our family, support them, and create a life full of love and happiness, no matter how busy life may be. Part 6. A Long, Inspiring Life. Queen Elizabeth II lived a very long and remarkable life. She became one of the longest reigning monarchs in history. Imagine living through so many years of change, seeing the world grow, and watching your country transform. For most of us, life feels busy, sometimes difficult, and full of surprises. For Elizabeth, it was all that, and much more. She carried the weight of her responsibilities with courage, kindness, and determination. When Elizabeth became queen, she was only 25 years old. Many people were young at that age, just starting their careers or exploring their dreams. But Elizabeth had an entire country depending on her. She knew that her job would last for decades. It was not about a few years of work or a temporary responsibility. She understood that being a queen meant dedicating her life to others, to serving her people, and to making a difference every single day. During her reign, Elizabeth faced many challenges. There were moments of sadness, moments of confusion, and moments of pressure. Countries changed, world events happened, and sometimes she had to make difficult decisions. But she never gave up. She showed the world that strength is not only about power, it is also about patience, kindness, and persistence. Even when the world seemed uncertain, Elizabeth remained calm and focused. People admired Queen Elizabeth II not because of her crown, her palace, or her title, but because of her character. They admired her kindness, her dedication, and her hard work. She treated people with respect and care. She showed that being a leader is not about commanding others, it is about serving others. Even small acts of kindness mattered to her. Visiting a hospital, comforting someone in need, or smiling at a child could make a huge difference. These small gestures showed the world that even small actions can have a big impact. Elizabeth's long life teaches us many lessons. One important lesson is bravery. Being brave does not mean never being afraid. It means acting with courage even when you feel fear. Elizabeth faced many moments in life that were scary or difficult. Sometimes she had to meet important leaders, handle problems in her country, or face personal loss. Each time she remained brave and did her best. Her life teaches us that bravery is about trying, even when we feel uncertain. Another lesson is hard work. Queen Elizabeth II worked every day, for decades. She never gave up, even when she felt tired. She understood that responsibilities are not temporary. They require dedication, patience, and persistence. Her life reminds us that working hard, step by step, makes a difference. Even if we are young or feel small, our efforts count. Whether it is studying, helping at home, or supporting friends, small acts of hard work build character and impact the world around us. Elizabeth's life also teaches the importance of caring for others. She believed that leadership and love go together. Being kind, listening to people, and helping those in need were part of her everyday life. She taught the world that caring for others is not a weakness, it is a strength. Everyone can make a difference, no matter how small. Even a simple act of kindness, like helping a friend or being thoughtful, can create a ripple effect. Family and love were also central to Elizabeth's life. She loved her husband, Prince Philip, her children, grandchildren, and extended family deeply. Even with the immense responsibilities of being a queen, she made time to nurture love and care in her family. She balanced her personal life with her duties, teaching us an important lesson. No matter how busy life becomes, taking time for love and family creates joy, strength, and purpose. Her life reminds us that even ordinary people can do extraordinary things. We do not need a crown or a palace to make a difference. Just like Elizabeth, we can show kindness, work hard, care for others, and be brave in everyday life. Each choice we make, each effort we put in, and each act of love contributes to making the world a better place. Elizabeth's story is also about perseverance. She lived through decades of change. Technology, culture, politics, and society all evolved around her. Through every change, she adapted, learned, and remained steady. Her life teaches us that perseverance is key to achieving great things. Life will change, problems will come, and we will face obstacles. But by staying strong, learning, and moving forward, we can overcome difficulties and reach our goals. Even as she aged, Queen Elizabeth II remained a symbol of inspiration. People around the world admired her, not because she was perfect, but because she kept trying, kept serving, and kept caring. She taught the world that life is not measured by fame or power alone, but by the impact we make through love, kindness, and hard work. Her legacy is one of courage, dedication, and compassion. Her story shows us that our lives matter, no matter who we are. We all have the power to inspire, help, and create change. Even small actions, being responsible, helping a friend, showing love, or working hard, can make the world better. She reminds us that age, position, or circumstance does not limit our ability to make a difference. Everyone has a role to play, and every effort counts. Imagine living a long life full of responsibilities, challenges, and changes, and still finding the strength to be kind, brave, and loving every day. Imagine inspiring millions of people, not by wealth or power, but by your character and actions. That was Queen Elizabeth II. Her life teaches us that courage, love, hard work, and care for others are the qualities that truly make a person great. Even after decades of service, Elizabeth remained humble. She understood that life is not only about titles or achievements, it is about the people we help, the love we share, and the positive impact we leave behind. She showed that true greatness is measured by our actions and our heart, not by our position or fame. Her story inspires us to think about our own lives. What can we do to be brave, kind, and hardworking? How can we care for our family, friends, and community? How can we make a positive difference every day? Queen Elizabeth II's life shows that even small acts matter, and that each of us can leave a legacy of love and kindness. In the end, Queen Elizabeth II became more than a queen. She became a symbol of hope, courage, and dedication. Her long, inspiring life teaches us to be brave, work hard, care for others, and never give up, even when life is challenging. Everyone, no matter who they are, can make a difference. Her story reminds us that life is about love, responsibility, and kindness, and that even ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things when they live with courage and heart.